Howdy YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Gunman. So something a little bit different today. I thought we'd do a top 10 list on things that I like about PPG. I've been a bit of a vocal critic of many things PPG over the years. I still stand by most of those comments, although I have sort of overcome most of them. But let's just focus on the 10 things that I like about PPG. Now let's just get stuck straight into it. So flexibility, I've written a bit of a list down. Flexibility and ease of use, right? So one thing about coming from Stando Blue is, like, you've got to get it right the first time. If you don't get it right the first time, you can be in for a bit of a messy paint job. One thing that, like, if you miss one little sanding scratch on a silver, for instance, you basically screw the job up. Because you really do have to get it right the first time. Now with this, that is totally not the case. If you get like a sanding scratch or a big chunk of crap landing in your silver base coat, sand it out, or maybe let it dry, of course, sand it out, dust a little bit more color on, off you go. So what you'll get with Stando Blue is like bad profiling. If you like sand one bit out and then you dust a little bit of color over it, that color will sort of overspray and sort of profile on the rest of the panel. When you go to clear it, it'll pull all the life out of the clear, and depending on how good the quality that you're looking for, you may even end up having to sand it back and re-clear it, or try and fix it with the buff. But yeah, it pulls all the life out of the clear as soon as you need to go and fix something. So flexibility and ease of use, well, I've got that written down as 2, but I think you could nearly mesh the 2 together, I guess. Ease of use, you could probably put that in with blends, right? So it is easy to blend. If you don't get that blend right the first time, you can sort of step it out, you can dilute it. Again, same thing with the Stando Blue. If you don't get that blend right the first time, you're gonna be having those profiling issues and the gloss drop that you may get. But you know, it's not to be fair, it's not a massive criticism on Stando Blue, because once you know these things are coming, you've got to be a bit more, you know, and you are sort of experienced, you'll know how to overcome, you'll know to make sure that your prep is on point. The next thing is solid colors with the Spectro. So I've had pretty damn good results with the, this is it here. This is the Spectro from PPG. So I did specifically say solid colors because the other colors can be hit and miss. I'd give it like a 80% across the board with metallics, but I'd give it, say, a 90 to 95% of good color matches that you don't have to color match. It'll just match off the machine, mix and paint. Another thing I do actually recommend is building a library. That's what I'm gradually doing. I love this tray thing that I sort of made up here. It's got little dividers in it, so as you can see there, I've sort of separated the colors into different categories. Solid color whites, I just put all my solid color whites in there, and I know that I've got a color for most of the common colors. So I do recommend that with Stando Blue. Well, I mean, Stando Blue, PPG, most color systems, there's certain colors that you're gonna want to keep yourself. All that aside, let's go on to the next one. So what have we got? Primers. Like the primers in PPG are really good, and they've got a nice range of them. So whilst I may not particularly like the way that edge primers work, it's not necessarily a criticism of the PPG. We have to use these edge primers to get the warranty on those patrols, but it's a good quality primer, right? I would much prefer to use this one. This is a really, really good primer. I really do like this one. So the DP616, that's the epoxy thing. As you can see, that's an epoxy primer. I would prefer to use these on those patrols, but look, being that we have to use that, we use it. But what we do is we turned it into like a sandable mode. So we have to put that down, then we have to put this one down, but as a surfacer, primer surfacer, and that's like a light grey. So then after that, we'd put another one. So we've got this big sandwich of, like, say, 3 different primers on most of those patrols. It is what it is, but they're good primers. That's one thing that I just wanted to quickly point out in this video. And we'll move on to the next thing. Yeah, wide range of products. So, you know, if you, and even with your clear coats, with your primers, even with your 2Ks and even industrial paints. Like, they've got a really good wide range of products. So I personally don't particularly rate the, well, we don't even have it. We don't even have any of the 136 clear. It's got to be one of the worst clears that I use. You don't like it, don't use it. You know, don't like the sprint clear, don't use it. It's got its place in the lineup, it does what it does, and you know, for certain jobs we have to use it. We don't mind that for we use that sprint clear to float the candy on those Mazdas that we do. Don't like it, you can look at this one here. So you've got the 105 clear. Now, personally, it's not my favorite. Previously it was my favorite PPG clear, but now you've got the 131. You've got, what have we got? Like Vibrance clears. Look at all these bloody clears that we've got. We've tried them all. We've got Vibrance clears, we've got Opti clears, we've got so many different products to choose from, and I think that's a positive. I sort of used to have a little bit of a laugh with their clear coats. I was like, man, you got all these clears and then none of them are any good. I was kind of a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but now they've got the 131, and I believe that in, say, the US and Europe, that is the same product as D8131. So they've basically just relabeled it and rebranded it for here in Australia, but I really rate that. It's very much like some of the Standox clears. It goes on nice and smooth and glassy, and yeah, I really like it. So that is the hardener that goes with it. That's the standard hardener, and then I've got a slow hardener. Actually, these days I'll be using more slow than standard on more of the jobs, and it doesn't even take a thinner, so it's a very easy mix. It's 2-to-1, no thinners, and it just goes down glassy. One thing I do like to do is get the temperature into it, so I've got a little bit of a temp gauge here, and I'll just be able to read the temperature on it. Sort of between 25 and 30. So if I was to use that this morning, I probably wouldn't heat it up. But if it was sort of down at 20 degrees, I would just whack it in my microwave. I found this microwave on Hard Rubbish, which is my American viewers, it's Curbside Collection. I was just driving down the street one day, I'm like, man, that's my microwave, and it's really good, it's perfect. You just put your clear coat in there for 10 or 20 seconds, check it with the temp gauge. You don't want to get it too hot, you really don't want to go much above 35 degrees. It can sort of start snapping and going off too fast. But getting a little bit off track now, a wide range of products, ancillary products. Again, you know, they've got lots of ancillary products, and I guess we can quickly touch on things like the dull fleet, you know. So we use this as a affordable option for these resprays that we're doing. I'll take you out for a quick look around the workshop at the end of the video. If you want to hang around, I'll give you a look at a few of the resprays that we've done recently. And this one here, love it, man. This is one of those ancillary products. I can't believe, like, where have you been all my life? Scan seal, they call it. But that stuff there enables you to just spray straight over non-sanded paint. As long as the paint is in good condition and prep sold and clean, spray that scan sealer down, what is it? F3979 2K sealer, and what we've been doing with that is putting a little bit of the color in with it to help. I think it does two things. It's like a guide coat, because that's a pretty transparent sealer there. It guide coats, and it also helps with the coverage when you do go to put the color over the top. What else have we got? What's the next one? The quality. Like, you really can't knock the quality. Some of the products, like I say, they do have a wide range. Your results may vary, but generally a high quality. And the next one down on the list, I'm not going to harp on that one for too long. Quality is quality, it's good. White primer. That's one thing that really annoyed me about Standox. They used to have a white primer, like a wet on wet or a sandable primer. They used to have it, and then they ditched it. It's like, man, what, like, one of the paint reps spoke to me. I said, like, why did they do that, and why would they do that? And he said, oh, people were complaining that it doesn't cover that well. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, but at least you had the option to use, like, you know, so they basically changed it to a light gray. Like, it's like a G2, like a shade number 2. You used to have 1 and 2, now they changed it to a 2, and it's like, well, now I don't have the option. Like, previously, if I didn't like the way that G1 covered, I could just go to the 2. But now you've taken the option for the 1 out. Like, it didn't make sense to me, it still doesn't make sense, especially on, you know, like a white pearl, right? The last thing that you want to do is put too many layers of paint on when you're in the booth. of waterborne. So if you can get more wet on wet down, or like a light shaded primer, then when you're in the booth, you put less down, you're going to get less drawback or pullback, dieback in the clear coats at the end of the day. So like it's not inconsequential. Having a white primer is pretty important for me, and Standox don't do it anymore, and unless they've bought it out since I've stopped using them. But yeah, and the next thing on the list is blends. I think I've already covered that with the ease of use, but I do find it really easy to blend. You know, you can crank the pressure up to 2 bar or 29 psi. You can drop it down to 20. You can drop it down to 15, and you're gonna get pretty good results, I've found. Yeah, one of the criticisms I had of Stano Blue is it's like, man, even at a low pressure, that color just floats, man. It's like you're just watching it float down your panel, whereas even with the one visit activator, this stuff, it seems to stay nice and tight. Like it does what you want it to do. So I'm really coming around to PPG, and a lot of the criticisms that I had was they're overcomable, right? And I've pretty much overcome them. I'm really happy using PPG these days. I've never been a hater, so the way I see it is when the evidence changes, you got to change your opinion, right? You don't want to just be a stick in the mud and just say, oh, I'm right and I've always been right. I think, like I say, I think where I was at the time, I sort of stand by my opinions then, but yeah, I've moved past a lot of those issues. So it's really good. I'm really happy with the results I've been getting. And like I said, look, I'll take you for a quick walk around and have a look at some of the work that I've been doing, just to sort of give you a bit of proof of the kind of work that we do, and the quality that we've been getting out of PPG. So this one here is a full respray, one of those patrols, just solid color black, but clear over base. So this is with the 131, so that's all pretty much off the gun. We've done minor denibs, but we haven't, it hasn't been sanded back dead flat or anything. Have a look at that, man. Killer. How's the reflection on that? Man, you can't complain about that. Nice gloss retention. What have we got in here? We've got a couple of Mazdas that I've done. Like, how can you complain about that, you know? Judge something by its fruits, and if you can get that out of it, you can't really complain, can you? Even these, like, man, when I started doing these Mazdas, the amount of orange peel in them was incredible. It was terrible. I was like, and I think that's a big part of what I was let down with the PPG, because I felt like I was being held back by the products, and I was, you know, like I knew that I was capable of so much more, and a massive thing, I can't understate how much that 131 clear, it came out sort of mid to late last year, and overnight, like my jobs just came out so much glassier, smoother, slicker, just, yeah, man, it's a life changer. Yeah. And this one here, that's that Delfleet 2K truck paint, industrial, because they're what are they? Australia Post fans. So yeah, there you go. There's a good little you know, diverse range of resprays that you've seen us do. So if you want a respray done, let us know. Shoot us an email, thegunmanraw@gmail.com. You can bring a respray in here. So as you can see, we only do quality work. We don't do cheap work, of course. If you want a cheap respray, maybe keep looking. Look, maybe my boss would be able to accommodate you, maybe, but yeah, as you can see, you've seen the kind of work we do. That it doesn't look like cheap work, does it? So if you want cheap work, maybe go find a place that does cheap work. But if you want quality work, bring it on. I guess that's about it, guys. Hopefully you've all been well, and yeah, until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Let's do one more flyby on this patrol. What a beast, man. I actually reckon this car here, like, it looks tough, you know? It does. It just in the black and with the highlights, like the chrome highlights on it, I reckon it looks bloody tough, man. And I can hold my head high, you know, and I've been up through some ups and downs on in you know, using PPG, and just feeling like or knowing I'm better than what I've been able to do, able to get out of it. But yeah, I guess that's another testament to my dedication to always trying to improve, you know. And it's just, it might only be a little 1% or a 2% here, but eventually you get to that point where you're just pumping out some of the best work you've ever done. I did a respray for one of my friends recently on his silver Commodore, and he just said to me before I painted it, he goes, "Oh, make sure you do a good job, can you care?" And I'm like, man, I'm on autopilot. Like, I'm sitting here like listening to podcasts most of the day, and I don't even have to think about it, because when something happens, I've got a protocol for that, you know what I mean? I'm nearly like a robot. It's like I don't even have to think. I'm on muscle memory. Like, I'm floating around this workshop. I know where every single gun is. I know where everything is, and I really don't have to think about it, which is good. You know, it's kind of, you can just float on through your day, enjoy the work, and as you can see, I'm working in an awesome environment. How good is this? Even just having like a ventilated mixing room. So, you know, I can be sitting here, no mask on, and you can't even smell any of the paint fumes. But yeah, there's a quick look at some of my spray guns. Absolutely love those Gunman editions. Would you buy a Gunman edition? I mean, I really, fingers crossed, would love to have another Gunman edition. I've always wanted it to be a DeVilbiss. How good would that be? Like, it would be my dream come true. Like, I mean, like a proper, you know, like one of these wraps type thing on a DV1. How good would that be? Gunman edition. Like, would you buy one? Let us know. Anyway, guys, if you do want to go and get yourself a spray gun, Spray Guns Direct is where to go. That's where I get all my spray guns from. I find it really annoying. Like, I listen to these guys, I tell you, you know, I listen to podcasts and that all day, and they're like harping on for like 15 minutes, or no, maybe not 15, 1.5 minutes about their advertising. I'm like, man, just say what you need to say. Okay, we get it. You're selling a mattress. You know, just like that. That's what I sort of try to do, you know. Go to Spray Guns Direct if you want to get a spray gun. I don't need to harp on about it for too long. Until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Coming out. Oh, but those pro lights, man. You know, how good are they? Christmas colors too. It's like Christmas come early.